goes. I'm so glad you're here for story time. Caractacus and I have chosen this book called A New Beginning, a celebration of spring equinox, because tomorrow, the 21st of March, is spring equinox. Now, everybody's going to tell you it's the first day of spring, but when you look at the wheel of the year, it's actually the middle of spring. And a lot of the stuff that we think about starting in spring has already started to happen. So, let's read about spring equinox. As I'm reading, I want you to be thinking about your favorite signs of spring. What are the things that you love about spring? A new beginning. Leaf buds uncurl on bare branches. Frogs leave their wintry hideaways, hop to the nearest water, and lay eggs. Crocus tips poke through melting snow. Woodchucks whistle, chickadees chirp, and dragonflies emerge from rivers and ponds. The long nights of winter shorten, and with more hours of sunlight and weather warms in the northern half of the world, winter gives way to spring. Robins wing their way back north, and animals give birth to their young. People prepare their fields and plant crops in the softening earth. Now, what I should actually say here is that robins overwinter in Michigan now. If you really want to pay attention to a bird of spring, look for a red-winged blackbird. Red-winged blackbirds are all black, they have yellow beaks, and when they fly, you see a flash of red from under their wings. As the bright sun returns, people open their windows to welcome warm breezes and clear out winter's dust. We pack away our bulky jackets and wear brightly colored clothes to match the fresh shades of spring. The days gradually grow longer, the nights shorter, until around March 21st. Days and nights are equal. On the days, the earth is tilted so that the sun is directly over the equator. This day is called spring equinox, meaning equal night. Winter is over, spring begins. In many cultures' calendars, the spring equinox marks the new year. Just as January 1st is the beginning of our calendar year, for thousands of years, in different places and in different ways, people have celebrated spring as a time of new beginnings when the land becomes alive again. I like this picture because it shows how the earth rotates throughout the course of the year. Long ago, some say too long to be traced, the Chinese began celebrating the end of winter and the new beginning, spring. Today, the second new moon after the winter solstice still marks the Lunar New Year. Families clean their homes to sweep away traces of bad luck. They buy fruits and flowers, hang red banners with good wishes written on them. Dancers wear paper lion masks to scare away evil spirits and bring good luck. Children receive money in red packets, since red means good luck too. On the 15th night, people parade with paper lanterns while fireworks fill the air. Children cheer as the long silk and paper dragons weave its way down the street to the beat of a drum. The dragon's appearance is a way of wishing fortune, peace, and good luck to all during the coming year. So those of you who did the Lunar New Year passions know all about this. Over 3,000 years ago, the people of ancient Persia celebrated the spring equinox as a new beginning during Nowruz, which means New Year. Today, modern-day Iranians welcome spring just as the ancient Persians did. 10 days before Nowruz, they plant wheat or barley in a flat dish to represent new beginnings and the cycle of life. A few days later, colorfully dressed troubadours announce the coming of the new year. Troubadours are like musicians. On Nowruz, families stay home and wait for the exact time the spring equinox begins. Many exchange gifts, think good thoughts, do good deeds, and eat candied fruit to sweeten their lives. They believe that joy and happiness defeat bad spirits. I wonder what good deeds you could do for spring, to honor spring coming. Over 2,000 years ago, the people of India celebrated Holi at the beginning of spring to ensure good crops. In Hindu mythology, Holika or Holika was the demoness who burned in a fire. Now during Holi, on the night of the full moon in March, the villagers light great bonfires to represent the triumph of good over evil. The heat of the bonfire is a sign of the hot summer to come, and the villagers bury the ashes to grow better crops. The next morning, the mood changes from gloomy to jolly. People of all ages toss multicolored powder with glitter over each other and load squirt toys with red tinted water to spray at anyone passing by. That sounds like so much fun. Oh my goodness.
It's beautiful.
They all celebrate the coming of spring, singing and dancing with soaking wet rainbow colored clothes. I kind of wish we could do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Many believe that this was the origin of April Fool's Day, when people play tricks on one another. Oh,
It's very pretty.
thank you, Willow. Over 1,200 years ago, the Mayan people in Mexico built many structures to map the cycles of the sun. Their existence centered on the sun and its effect on planting and harvesting. With their vast knowledge of astrology, architecture, and mathematics, the Maya carefully planned and precisely built structures to predict the seasons. That's amazing. At Chichen Itza, I hope I said that right, they built the El Castillo Pyramid. Here people can still witness an amazing feat. Each year on the day of spring equinox, the afternoon sun makes shadows that look like the body of a snake, over 100 feet long, slithering down the pyramid. Whoa! I want to see that. At sunset, the body joins a huge stone carving of a snake head located at the bottom of the main staircase. Spring has arrived. Planting can begin. Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. I want to go see that. Put that on my bucket list. Meshlenitsa, or Pancake Week. Okay, Pancake Week in Russia dates back over 1,000 years. The 7-day sun festival celebrated the returning light. It bade goodbye to the long winter and said hello to spring. Families ate warm, round, golden pancakes that looked like the sun. For a week? Wow. The more butter they spread on each pancake, the hotter the sun was supposed to be during this coming summer. There would be a lot of sun because I love butter. They enjoyed horse-drawn sleigh rides in a semicircular trail across the snow, symbolizing the sun's path across the sun. Today, families still celebrate outdoors. They dance, sing songs, jingle bells, eat hot tea, and of course, eat pancakes. Yes. At night, bonfires are lit. Brightly dressed straw scarecrows representing Lady Maslenitsa are tossed into the fire. When Maslenitsa is over, spring begins. Okay, I am seriously all about a holiday that involves eating pancakes for a week. Because, yeah. Almost 500 years ago, when the Cree Native Americans experienced long, hungry winters, berries, one of the first signs of spring, were an important sign of the warm season to come. They not only ate the berries, but because bears feasted on them too, the Cree knew where to hunt bears. They honored the first berries each year by placing them in a bowl, holding them high, and thanking Great Spirit. The Jewish holiday of Passover celebrates a new beginning. Over 3,000 years ago, Hebrews were enslaved in Egypt. After 400 years of enslavement, they were finally freed. Each spring, on the first night of the 8-day holiday, families gather for a meal called a Seder. They eat special foods, sing songs, and retell the story of how they became free. Each food on the Seder plate tells a different part of the story. The lamb bone symbolizes the lamb that was sacrificed in the ancient temple in Jerusalem. A sprig of parsley dipped in salt water reminds Jews of the tears their people shed when they were enslaved. Haroset, a paste of nuts, apples, and wine, reminds them of the clay the enslaved people used to make bricks. Haroset is delicious, by the way. Bitter herbs recall the bitterness of enslavement. Matzah, a flatbread, reminds them that there was no time for bread to rise before the slaves fled Egypt. An egg symbolizes the new life that begins each spring. Each year, on the day of spring equinox, ancient Saxons in Germany celebrated a festival for the goddess of springtime named Ostera. Her earthly symbol was a rabbit. Rabbits and eggs were symbols of rebirth. Many Anglo-Saxons in England dyed eggs by boiling them with flower petals and leaves. Brightly colored eggs represented the bright sun of springtime. At the same time that pagans celebrated their goddess of springtime, Ostera, Christians observed Jesus' new beginning, when they believed he was raised from the dead. As more people became Christians, the name of their celebration changed from Ostera to Easter. On the first Sunday after the full moon, after the spring equinox, Christians celebrate Easter. Many worship outdoors at early sunrise services or in churches filled with flowers and glorious music. Children find Easter baskets filled with chocolate rabbits and colorful eggs, still symbols of Easter. Today, families of all kinds still celebrate spring as a time of new beginning. They plant flowers and vegetables, play baseball, ride bikes, fly kites, have picnics, enjoy the return of warm days, and welcome spring, a new beginning. Oops, nearly dropped my book. All right. So, friends, your writing assignment is to think about your favorite parts of spring and write about them. There are so many things that I couldn't pick just one thing, so I'm going to write probably more. But here's what I wrote. My favorite thing about spring is seeing the flowers come up and hearing the birds. And then I drew a little picture of a bird, and I drew some pictures of some flowers. That's the assignment you can do, and I'm excited to see what you have to write. So that's what you're going to do today, and have a beautiful weekend.